So we've gone ahead and tried to take off the sway bar here, but what you don't want to do is run into a sidewalk and bend your towing hook over the nut, because then you can't get it off. So, you know, we had to pry it and snap it off so we could make room to get that last nut off. And then we took off the tie rod. We had to hammer on it really hard right here to kind of get it loose and pop it up out of there. Took the brake lines off, and now we're ready to unbolt the shocks, the struts. Okay, then we had to get some spring compressors here. They will scrunch the springs up and hold it tight, so when we unbolt it, it won't shoot out and take our head off. But I found out the car's kind of, and springs are so small, I had to cut off the end here, so you don't need to get the really long ones if you have, I don't know, a smaller car. And when we put them on, we want to get them, let's see, get them kind of spread far apart here, but start them down low, because you don't want these bolts shooting up into the car eventually, because then that can keep you from compressing it all the way. So a gap of about 4 should work. These spring compressors have 2 claws here, and when we did the other side, that seemed to be a problem because they wouldn't really grab on with both. They'd start to slip off and then it would fail. So I've seen some that just has one big hook in the middle, and I might recommend that, but it still did the job painfully. You want to, is this too long? You want to put them really directly across from each other so that it'll compress the spring evenly on both sides. Nice thing about this tool though is it does have a slot for your ratchet wrench, so that makes it a little faster. And my cameraman Matthew Steele is going to be doing the other side so we can kind of keep it balanced. Okay, so we cranked down on those until we saw the spring come down below the cup up there, which indicates that it's not putting any pressure on the top anymore. And then we're gonna go up top here. All right, I'm gonna try to pop this little cap off. And then we're gonna have to take this nut off down in here. This on top of the strut shaft, but we got to put quite a bit of torque on it, so we're going to leave these 3 screws in and not take the whole thing off yet. So since we don't have their 2-in-1 tool that holds that in place while we undo the nut, we're just going to put our driver on here and then our socket on there, and then put an Allen wrench in to hold that in place. And just clamp on something so we can get a good grip on it. Alright, so we got our vice grips on the end of the Allen wrench here, so we can keep it from moving around while we loosen this socket. The pipe wrench, because we don't have the proper tool. And now that I have that in place, my cameraman will yank on it while I hold the vice grips. Alright, so we ended up getting a shorter Allen wrench so we can control it more. That tall one was hitting the edge of the car and bending it out, so it kept popping out when Matthew was trying to loosen it with the pipe wrench. So we, where's that Allen wrench? We bent the heck out of the Allen wrench. It was holding it in place. So that nut, we can tell, has been on there like 30 years, so we're gonna try to, we don't have WD-40 with us to loosen the nut, so we're trying some Coca-Cola. let that sit for a little while. So we're just trying to hopefully loosen that nut. Try to break any bonds that it's created over the 30 years or so. Okay, so we're gonna stick this Allen wrench right down the center so we can tap the top of the strut insert down. And we put something under it, down on the ground, so it won't just like fall and hit something hard or rip out a brake line or anything like that. Okay. And we just pull this out. I'll probably just put these in a hubcap, something like that, so we don't lose them. So yeah, you can see all this oil down there, so you can tell that's failing. Boy, look how old that is, huh? Alright, so we're just going to take this dust cover off, unscrew this cap. Yeah, we'll get a pipe wrench for that, and then we'll pull out this strut insert. So we're going to, yeah, we've got the pipe wrench. We're going to take off this cap so we can pull it out. So I ended up having a buddy hold right here, or I held here while he pulled on the wrench. Because it was on really tight. Pull that guy out, and you can see that one's better than the other one that we took out, which is over here. They're both shot, but this one, look how quickly it goes down. So that's just air in there because all that oil had come out. It should go really slowly. That was not too bad, but still leaking some. All right, so we have KYB. They're not, original, so the size is a little bit different. You do want to get the one that's machined down, because some of them will have this wider diameter all the way up here, and then that won't work. So look for that if you're, for the 73 Super Beetle. And then got to put in this like adapter bushing, and then put that cap back on. Okay. So we notice we have a rag or shirt over the brakes just because there's so much dust and rust we're scraping out of here, just kind of keep things clean. Whatever. I'm gonna put this dirt guard on there before we get the spring on. Notice the end fits in that little groove right here. So this dust guard seems let's cut my thumb off. Make sure you cut away from yourself. This dust guard seemed too long that when we put it on, it's actually compressed so much that it might not let the shocks travel as far as they need to. So we're just cutting a little bit shorter. Okay. Put that cap on there. And this one too has a groove in it for the end of the spring. Let's see which one. This one's good shape. All right, so we have the shaft back up through the hole. Got the nut back on. We'll use our socket to tighten it up, and it should be good. Okay, so we noticed that this different brand doesn't have that same Allen wrench to hold that part in place while we turn the nut. So we had to get one of these star wrenches. I don't know what size, but you'll figure it out. .5, we'll grab the end of that and hold it in place. And then I'll play a magic game and find the proper nut. Okay, and then you can go ahead and grab the pipe wrench and tighten the nut. Alright, so we took our spring compressors off, made sure the ends were in the cups and in the little groove there, and then putting the brake lines back in. Right there, and then we'll tighten the nuts. Put your tie rod back in, nut on the bottom, put the sway bar back up in there, and then